This is our second time coming to the facility, and it's been a pleasure to come back. And today we're going to be doing a shepherd's pie. And shepherd's pie can be made in many ways. Many ways. Shepherd's pie can be made with ground beef. Shepherd's pie can be made with turkey. Shepherd's pie can be made with lamb. It is up to the individual on what they like, because everybody doesn't eat lamb, everybody doesn't eat ground beef. Some people like turkey, and so they make their shepherd's pie with turkey. I have a few clients that like their shepherd's pie, and they use turkey for health reasons. They used to eat it with ground beef, or they might have used to eat it with lamb, but they have converted to eating it with turkey for dietary reasons, and they love the way it turns out. So today we're making shepherd's pie. We're going to be making shepherd's pie with ground beef. As you see, you have everything in front of you right there in the way we're going to be making the shepherd's pie. Now, what I did before you all arrived on today, I started the process of just boiling the potatoes. You know, everybody knows how to roll the water and boil the potatoes. So instead of you all sitting here and watching potatoes boil, I already got that done. And what I did to expedite the process of cooking those potatoes, I prepped them, meaning I sliced them, diced them up a little bit. That way they cook faster. So that helps up with the speeding of cooking that up. So next step is what we're going to do with the shepherd's pie. I'm going to add a touch of some sour cream inside of the potato mixture, the mashed potatoes. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So we're going to make sure we get the sour cream put inside of that. Not too much. And the thing about it, when you add this cream into it, it's almost like when you add heavy cream into mashed potatoes. What it does is thickens up the potatoes. It's not like adding milk. So what I like to do is have a reinforcement. And today's reinforcement is going to be some beef stock. So this beef stock will help thin it back out if it gets too thick during the whisking or the whipping process, because I'm actually going to whip the potatoes instead of mashing the potatoes.
Oh, yes. And you're going.
Oh, yes.
How much meat is cooking?
This, I would say the recipe calls for 1 pound. This is more than 1 pound.
Yes, it is.
This is 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds. So 2 pounds and 8 ounces is what this equivalates to. And the reason I'm cooking this amount is because, you know, you'll have a few staff members here, and I want to make sure that your staff members who also invite us here, they get a little bit too.
Oh,
They get a little bit too.
Did you have anything in your skillet when you put the meat in?
We had a little bit of butter. Good question. That's what caused that nice little simmer. We had some butter in the pan. Unsalted butter, grass-fed, no margarine, butter. No oil, butter.
why not
Now, you
do it?
folded your garlic and onions into the meat.
Yes, we did. And that's what I was walking around displaying just a moment ago, because that way and also the seasonings too as well. We want everything to be incorporated in there, let all those flavors kind of meet each other, kind of come together.
Why not do oil? Why butter?
Oil is very unhealthy for you. Canola oil, vegetable oil, unhealthy for you. Olive oil is traditionally a high-class oil, but that is really not too healthy for you either. Almond oil, avocado oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil. You have a wide range of grapeseed oil. These are the oils that I tend to use for my clients versus an extra virgin olive oil versus a canola oil or any other oil, because they're lighter and they actually have benefits for the body. An almond is a protein. So you're using this almond oil and it's adding all these benefits into you, and also it's actually clearing you out versus using a thicker and low quality oil, which is going to stagnate. It's going to sit there. It's going to cause your body to work harder, so rates go higher. And we don't want to accelerate the rates. We want them to stay at a nice medium to where the doctors are saying, what are you doing? That's what we want. And this is why I tend to use these types of oils or a butter versus that. Butter is not bad for your body. It is the oils and the combination of butters, especially the oils that we tend to use here.
Why are you saying olive oil?
olive oil versus almond oil versus an avocado oil, almond oil versus a grapeseed oil are in different categories. An almond oil versus a grapeseed oil, or an olive oil versus a grapeseed oil is of a higher quality and it's healthier for you. Avocado oil is much healthier for you, or coconut oil is much healthier for you than an olive oil is.
So, but why? Because, I mean, mostly they're promoting olive oil, so.
Well, that's the thing about it. Yes, because just because we might grow up and we might use this product does not necessarily mean that it's the best product. If you do a little bit of research, and the numbers are out there. The numbers are out there. Coconut oil, much healthier than olive oil, by far.
Why is it that makes the
Well, you have omegas, madam. Do you know what omega-3s are? Omega acids, fatty acids that are good for your joints, and also good for your arteries. They have those oils versus an olive oil, which is a thicker oil, which stagnates, tends to clog, versus a coconut oil, which is a thinner oil. And they all do the same thing, but the coconut oil, an almond oil, a safflower oil, these oils tend to do a better job in lubricating your joints. They tend to do a better job of making sure the digestive tract is in order versus an olive oil. That is why we say what we say. Does that help you out? Yes.
Well, you see it, and you're the olive oil and the canola oil on the shelf.
That's what you see. And that's what they put in front of you. And you have to look real high to see the higher quality oils. Those oils are there for you, but they don't promote them. They don't promote it. But they are much healthier for you. Much, much healthier for you.
Did you hear that?
Now, if we were at home and we were in the kitchen, this will be cooking at a faster rate. But we know we're dealing with a portable induction range, so this is why it's cooking a little bit longer than what we would typically cook it. But while this is cooking, what I'm going to do is, after it gets to a certain point, I'm going to take it, I'm going to strain all of this out, and we're going to add in some other ingredients. I have tomato paste. We're going to add tomato paste inside of this as well, and we're going to be adding a flour. Now, this is an all-purpose flour. This flour is a gluten-free based flour that we're going to be adding into it. Also, if you're looking at other substitutes for gluten, one of the best substitutes, and it's a traditional substitute that people forget about, is cornstarch. You can use cornstarch. I can recall working at certain places where people had gluten allergies. They truly had them. They weren't putting on the front. They had gluten allergies. So in that case, they love meatloaf. They love other products. So what I would do for them is I would fry their catfish, because they like catfish, and I would fry it in a cornmeal, or I would fry cornmeal with a little cornstarch. Or if I'm making a meatloaf for this individual, I would be using cornstarch as that filler to keep the meatloaf together without using the flour. So cornstarch works wonders too as well. So don't forget about that. You know, cornstarch is usually at a more affordable cost than some of the other flours. So cornstarch is an option if you have it already at hand. Don't hesitate to grab that cornstarch and to use it to thicken up whatever you're trying to thicken up. But all in the same token, we know it clumps up just like flour, so we have to make sure we do that. If we do that, we're good to go. We are good to go. So I'm going to pull this off, and we're going to go ahead and strain this out. I'm going to add some of this tomato paste like we discussed inside of it. Even though I have minced garlic inside of this mixture, I'm going to add a touch more of minced garlic inside of it as well too. Not a lot, just a touch more inside of it, okay? Yes, it is. With this up and down weather right now, it's hot, it's cold, we don't know what we want to do, and our sinuses are saying, what's going on? I mean, make your mind up. But we know it's Texas, and we know the weather here. Yes, unpredictable. It's always a few hours late. Sometimes I don't mind that weather being a few hours late, you know?
Yeah.
I don't mind being a few hours late sometimes, too.
They said we're gonna have the thunderstorm start at 4. Doesn't look like it to me.
Hey, I like that. get to. So hey, if that thunderstorm doesn't start at 4, that just makes it phenomenal.
What are you cooking there?
I'm going to be doing a pasta. I'm going to be doing a pasta, and we're going to be using a spinach Alfredo.
Oh.
Yes, and I'm going to be using spinach fettuccine noodles to make that dish. They have some it's a gluten pasta. It's not gluten free, but it is a spinach based pasta, and I think it's kind of fun to play with. Even though it's not gluten free, it's fun to play with it because it's green and it has spinach.
There with you?
I wish you could. You probably don't want to though. You probably will be bored. I might put you to too much work. So I might say, hey, come on back here with me. You know the routine. You know me by now. You see. And after I put this flour in, we're gonna add in the stock, and then we're gonna put these in, and then we're gonna put our vegetables in last.
Last question.
Yes, ma'am. I'm all ears.
When you add the flour.
Yes, ma'am.
What I usually do with things is I put a little bit of flour in a cup,
Mhm.
a little bit of water,
Mhm.
twirl it around with my finger,
Mhm.
so there's no lumps.
Mhm.
Then gradually I pour it into the sauce so it doesn't get cakey and
Mhm.
pebbly looking.
Yes. You can do that. You say it's like you're making a thin brew. Is essentially what you're making.
Yes, yeah.
You can do that. But with the heat level of this product, you're able to take your flour, cornstarch, or whatever agent that you want to use, and put it inside the dish. And now what happens is this protein source that's in here, now you have to keep moving it around so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan, but the protein source in here is going to absorb all of the thickening agent. In this case, it's a gluten-free flour. Now after it absorbs this thickening agent, which is the gluten-free flour that we're using on today, then I will put some of this stock in. And it's okay to not, the way you do it is phenomenal. It works. It works. There are 1,000,001 ways to do things. As working in restaurants, I've seen chefs go about the same thing. Yes, ma'am. See, yes, ma'am. So you see, it's so many different ways. So you do understand it's so many different ways, especially having that experience in your house, that it's so many different ways that you can go about cooking and getting the same results. It's all about, I guess, about the individual. It's about how they go about doing those things. And so we have this going right now. I'm going to add just enough of the beef stock inside. So this would essentially equivalent to a little bit more than what's on the card. So this is about, I put about 3 tablespoons inside here. I think it costs like 2, somewhere around there. And also, you know, when you're working with different equipment, things cook at different rates. So you know your oven at home, you know your stoves at home, you know your cook range at home. You know that you might need to play with it a little bit differently. So, and if you do, you might need to add a little bit more, take a little bit less out. It just depends on the temperature in which you're cooking at. So I'm gonna add a little bit of minced garlic, and then we're gonna go ahead and get our vegetables incorporated in. All right, we're making headway.
Go back and put it,
No, ma'am, not yet. I'm incorporating the bag as I see that I need to.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Because putting it all in at once, it won't give me the room I need to work with. Yes, does anybody have any questions? Feel free. It does not necessarily have to be about this. It can be about whatever your questions might be. You might be thinking about making something later on. It's okay. You can ask me whatever it is that you all have in mind.
I was gonna tell you,
Of course. And we plan on making sure that we come back and we'll be doing different things. And if you all have any suggestions, please let the proper people know, and they'll let us know, and we can go over what it is, and we can formulate something, and we can make these things for you all. That's what it's all about. It's just trying to make sure that we come up with different and creative ideals. I don't care where you've seen it. If you saw something, you want us to try it, you want to try it out, you let us know, then we can work it out. We can make things happen. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for. So essentially, I am putting this entire bag in. I'm looking at everybody in. I want it to be a nice mixture, and I'm not afraid to put vegetables in. I'm not afraid to do so. Ma'am?
I love vegetables.
All right, that's good. That's good. I do too. I don't know how I think it was the way my mom cooked them. And I was always in the kitchen as a child trying to learn. And lo and behold, years later, you see what happens. But that's where I was always in the kitchen. My mom, my grandma, learning from them.
Friends in England and Scotland tell me that if you make this with the lamb, it's shepherd's pie. If you make it with the beef, they call it cottage pie.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that's word.
Mm-hmm. Overseas, yes. Overseas, I can understand that. Mm-hmm. But any restaurant you go to here, I've worked at many restaurants. Ground beef, they're still gonna call it shepherd's pie. They're not gonna call it cottage pie. Usually at different ones I've worked at, 4-star, all the way down to Chili's, it's shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie. But now, are you correct? I agree with you, and I agree with your friends that are overseas.
Yeah, that's a local thing there.
Yes. But when you cross the pond, it becomes a global thing.
I think sometimes they're using lamb too.
And it is shepherd's pie.
Lamb.
That's why I said at the very beginning, you can use turkey, you can use ground beef, and I would say, most importantly, you can use that lamb. Just in the way it tastes with lamb, it is phenomenal. If no one has ever had it the traditional way, it is phenomenal. It is. That it truly is. So, and I'm gonna pull this out. I'm ready to pull this out of the oven. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Oh, y'all making me smile. Oh. Thank you all so much.